welcome. Oh. I am so excited about this week's video because it came to me very randomly. In my last video that I posted, I read books that I had been putting off reading, and one of those books was a florist-based book, and I love anything that has to do with florals because it's always been a dream of mine to own like a floral shop or be a floral designer, or just anything that has to do with florals is my dream come true. And I always dreamt of that growing up, and I was talking about that book and I shared the things that I wanted to be when I was growing up, and I was like, wait, that would be such a good idea for a video that I haven't seen before, is reading books based on all the things that I wanted to be as a kid. So like living out my childhood dreams through books. And I was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do for my next video. And so here we are. This week, we are going to be living out my childhood dreams through books, reading about all the things I wanted to be when I was growing up. I'm just so excited. So like the three big things I wanted to be growing up was, number one, a marine biologist. I think that this was like my number one thing that I stuck with. High school, I was like focusing on, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna go to college for. But I graduated in 2011, and I am from North Carolina, and I went to school for high school in North Carolina. And I don't know what happened, but I feel like that's the year that UNC Wilmington was on everybody's radar. So everybody was applying to go there, but that was like the number one school in North Carolina for marine biology. And so I applied, and I had a decent, GPA. I think my GPA was like 3.75. I ran track and cross country, and I was in student council. So I was like, okay, I'm not the smartest bunch out of my class, but I feel like I have a pretty good chance of getting into UNC Wilmington. And so I ended up not getting into my dream college, and I ended up not even going to school. I did a year at a community college in my little town I lived in, and then I became a flight attendant when I was 20. But yeah, that was my number one dream. So I'm gonna read a book about a marine biologist. Like I already shared, I'm obsessed with florals. I have always dreamt of opening like a floral shop or designing for weddings, and then my third childhood dream that we're gonna be living out is being an interior designer. Now this one was, I think, a dream that never really stopped happening. I feel like I'm very passionate about decorating my house and about finding stuff on Facebook Marketplace and helping other people do that. But growing up, even when I was like 6, I was obsessed with HGTV. So I always wanted to be like an interior designer / have a show on HGTV kind of vibes. And so the last book we'll be reading is an interior designer / HGTV home renovation kind of book. I found a very specific book for that, and I picked it up and we'll be reading it. So those are the three big dreams of mine growing up: being a marine biologist, owning a floral shop / being a florist, and lastly, being an interior designer / HGTV superstar. I have started, kind of, not really, like barely, I'm 20 pages in, but I have started the first book for this video. I just felt like this one, like the HGTV interior designer vibes, met Chattanooga, where we're staying. I don't know, we're in this really cute town. We went to breakfast yesterday at this little local diner, and I don't know, it just fit the vibes. Like I said, I'm only 20 pages in, so I will give you more updates as I read, but I'm just gonna be hanging out. I need to introduce you to the girls, but I'm just gonna be hanging out this week, going to swimming holes and rivers, going to cute places to eat, going book shopping. But I'm really excited to read this one, and I'm excited to spend time here in Chattanooga. I've only been here once a long time ago, and it was for a wedding, and I genuinely don't remember what we did or where we went, so it'll be really fun. Hey, what's up, you guys? Wait, this is really hard. don't have too many book updates yet. It's been really hard for me to read, honestly, because I just started playing Animal Crossing. We got a Switch like not even 2 weeks ago now. And so my whole personality has been Animal Crossing. So Georgia and I have mostly been playing that, and Heather has been reading a lot, and I have not been reading, but I was like, I've got to get started on my book. So last night and today I read a lot, and I am 100 pages in. Even though I didn't end up being an interior designer, I will forever and ever and ever have the most special place in my heart for HGTV. Even when I was a little kid, I loved HGTV, and I still do to this day. Even though I don't really dream to be an interior designer anymore, I would still die for an HGTV show. You have absolutely no idea. So this is just making all of my dreams come true. I am having the time of my life with this book because of how much joy and nostalgia it's sparking for me. I'm not too far in, so I don't have a lot of updates to tell you about. This book is about Astrid, who is an interior designer, and then Jordan, who is the lead carpenter. And Jordan's family's inn is getting renovated for this show on HGTV. And so Jordan and Astrid have to work together to do the interior designing and also the carpentry on the inn. And they definitely have like two different visions for it. Jordan wants to keep it like how her family had kept it, you know, keep it to what the inn is like now, except better. And Astrid wants to make it like very plain, very modern, very sleek. And so they're clashing a lot on it. One of the producers for the show catches it and is like, wait, you guys need to play into that. So far it's just been getting to know them two and seeing them interact for this show, mostly clashing and having a lot of tension. But the inn sounds absolutely dreamy. This book takes place in Portland, and the inn was built, I don't even know what year it's built, but it's really, really old. So I'm really liking the vibe so far. I love the plot of interior designing, and that's filmed for a show. What's wrong?
I feel ruined. I feel wrecked. I know you're talking about your book in this video, but if you don't cut this clip, I literally feel destroyed. It's like before I knew you were filming, I was about to walk out your butt ass naked and be like, help me.
I am back home now in LA. I had such a fun trip. All we did was play Animal Crossing, read our books, make some cute dinners, go get some good food. It was just so much fun. But I did end up getting really far. Astrid Parker doesn't fall. I definitely wish so far there was more design choices shown. I feel like there's only been a little bit. I think this book definitely is more romance based because of the bickering and like enemies-esque, you know, Astrid and Jordan start falling for each other and it just goes from there. But this book is definitely more romance based than it is interior design / renovation, or even focusing on the show. I think there's definitely bits and pieces, but I was hoping for a little bit more. I think if it had a little bit more of that, my heart would have just exploded from happiness, because that's why I love HGTV and the design shows, is because of that process. There's definitely been a little bit, not a lot. It's really good. There's definitely good some bantering going on, and I'm really liking it so far. I feel like it took me a long time to start this book and pay attention because of my surroundings and my friends, but once I finally was like, I have to read a book on this trip, and I picked it up, I gave it a chance, and things just really went from there. It's really like a fast, bingeable book, and I love the plot so much. The romance is so fun too, and I am excited to finish this book today. Hello from Hawaii. I am so excited to be in Honolulu in general, but I am even more excited to be in Honolulu because of this next book that I'm reading. I started it on my flight today. I am almost 40% in. It's just like a really fun, easy, bingeable second chance romance. This book is a newer release. It was really hard to find a book that had to do with marine biology. There was only like 2 others. It wasn't it. If you know of any books where one of the main character is a marine biologist, or if it takes place in like Wilmington or at the beach and it was really good, let me know. The next book I am reading for this video, living out my marine biology dream through a book, is called Second Tides the Charm. It's a second chance romance. It has to do with sharks and why can I not say shark research? Shark research. It's about these 2 marine biologists, Hope and Adrian, who are exes, and Adrian moved away to go help her best friend and her family in Michigan, and Adrian has basically turned into like a famous YouTuber social media star because he started this shark show on YouTube. And so he owns a boat, he has a team, and they're about to go out and research sharks all summer, and they need some help. One thing leads to another, and Hope ends up as the help. Hope doesn't even know that Adrian is like famous. She doesn't even know he has like a YouTube channel because they broke up and she cut off all communication, deleted all social media. Honestly, so relatable. So she starts working on Adrian's boat and they're basically stuck on a boat together. I am deathly afraid of sharks, so reading this book maybe will heal some parts of me. Maybe I'll learn some things about sharks and will make me feel better. We're just gonna have a cute layover in Hawaii. We're gonna read the most perfect book to be reading when I'm in Hawaii and enjoy the beach, get some sun, go eat all my favorite things. It's gonna be such a lovely day, and I could not have thought of a better place to read this book than here. I am 63% of the way in, and it's going really well so far. I really do love how informative this book is. Can you imagine a man naming his boat after you? I also read a scene yesterday where they are volunteering to mark turtle nesting sites, and it reminded me so much of the last song. I wanted to watch it so bad. I'm gonna have to watch it this week. I haven't seen that movie in so long. There is one thing that's kind of bugging me about this book. I kind of explained the gist of the plot, but basically the main character, Hope, goes to work on her ex-boyfriend Adrian's boat. Adrian has a very famous, popular YouTube channel. He's kind of like a shark influencer. He has tons of followers, and Hope has a really hard time at the beginning being filmed, and she has a specific reason for it. And basically the gist of it is she was public speaking and somebody filmed it, and I guess she kind of messed up her public speaking gig. They posted it online and one person was like being mean to her, and so that's why she deleted all of her social media, which is totally relatable. But this was years ago and she hasn't been on social media, and she doesn't want to get filmed or chat because of this one person that was bullying her, which totally relatable, but they keep talking about it all of the time. And it's kind of giving me the ick because of how much they're talking about social media. I don't know if that ever icks anybody else out, but I feel like sometimes when they talk about TikTok or like try to be relatable in the social media realm, it really bugs me because I'm reading to escape social media. So when they talk about it a lot, I'm like, stop talking about it. I need to get away from social media. I don't want to read about it. But other than that, I'm really liking it. That's the only part that's really frustrating me. I'm learning a lot about sharks, and it's just a really fun, easy, unique read. thought today it would be super fun to finish up Second Tides to the Charm and go read at the beach. This book is obviously about sharks and the ocean and water, and even though sharks shouldn't make me want to go to the beach, I don't know, just finishing this book on the beach sounds absolutely perfect, 10 out of 10, and I cannot think of a better way to spend my day off. Tomorrow I fly to New York and I'm gonna start my last book for the video, and I don't know, I just want to finish this book on the beach. I feel like it would be very full circle and just a really fun way to kind of get in the mood of the book. I sadly don't have a lot of positive updates. This book would have been amazing if the aspect of her being scared of social media wasn't so heavily spread throughout the book. Like, it is the main conflict of the book and it's constantly being brought up. But I did really want to read this because I have never read anything that has to do with marine biology, so I didn't want to DNF it. I really wanted to give it a chance, and it is really good in the aspects that have to do with marine biology, and I feel like their relationship, the main two characters, Hope and Adrian, like, they're very mature. They're going about it very healthily. You know, it's not a lot of tension without any conversation. Like, they are very mature in getting back together and figuring their ish out. And I really love that. And I really love how detailed and actually like hands-on you get to see their job. I feel like I'm actually getting to like shadow a marine biologist, which I love so much. So it really sucks because I love a lot of the aspects of the book, but the constant like fear of social media and negative comments and being in the limelight because of the YouTube, it's just really taking me out of how much I'm loving everything else. All that to say, I'm sad because I really had a lot of high hopes for this book. If that's something that you don't mind, like social media-esque themes or plots in a book, then I really think you'll love this one. Got my shades, got my sunscreen, got my book, got my water bottle, and basically my weapon, and we're gonna go to the beach. I have two fun things to share with you. Number one is I am currently in New York City on a long layover here. I love New York so much. And number two, I am starting my last book for this video. This video has been so much fun to film and has made me feel nostalgic for my childhood and to just dream again a little bit. I feel like a lot of times in life you can get burnt out and just kind of get in the swing, you know, of normal life things. If you have never read a book or any books based off of things you wanted to be growing up, I hope this video inspires you to do so. It's been so much fun for me. But we are starting the last book of the video, and I already told you guys a little rundown of my 3 things I wanted to be growing up. And this one I am very excited for because this is probably like my number one trope or like little plot in a book. I don't know, it just fuels and fills something that makes me so happy. I saved the best for last. We are gonna be reading A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. It is a romance book based on a girl who wants to open a floral shop, and one of my friends actually rated it lower because she said it was time realism, historical fiction, and that's why she didn't like it. And I personally love that so much. I am a historical fiction girly, so I really think I'm gonna like this one. We're just gonna read this last book. I am so excited for this one, and I didn't even realize that it takes place in New York City, and I'm here. I don't know, there's just something about reading a book in the city that it takes place in. It's something so magical, and you feel like you're the most romanticized it girl that ever existed in the entire world. And that's exactly what I'm gonna feel like today. We're gonna start this book. I figured since it has to do with like a floral shop, I could go try to find one. And if you're new here, I usually go to a bookstore and a coffee shop and do a long walk. That's like my bread and butter. It's what I do on my layovers as a flight attendant. And I was like, you know what? I feel like there's probably like a floral shop slash coffee shop that I can find. and I found one. So we're gonna go walk over there now. I'm gonna start a love song for Ricky Wilde on my Kindle, and we're just gonna finish this video off really strong. I don't remember the last time I talked to you guys. I think I was in New York and I went out for my layover, and I just started my last book for this video, a love song for Ricky Wilde. I had started this last book and then I had to stop it because I needed to start my book club book, so I wouldn't read it the last minute and, you know, not be ready for book club. But I have a book club here in LA and we are reading The God of the Woods for August. It's a very talked about thriller mystery right now. I finished that though. It was so good. I think I rated that one maybe like a 4 stars. And I don't know, it was just such a good atmospheric summer camp, moody, like not fall vibes, but it kind of gave me the vibes of Noah Kahan's Stick season. Just very green, camp. I don't know, it was spooky. It was really, really good. But I finished that book and now I am back to a love song for Ricky Wilde. But I don't really think I've given you a gist of this book yet, but I am actually really far in. I am 56% in and it's really, really good so far. But I didn't realize there was gonna be like a magical time realism aspect to this book. I don't know exactly what that entails yet, but that's a huge part of the book, and I love magical realism, time travel realism, something that has to do with time. It's giving me the same vibes of like an Ashley Poston book, which if you've never read an Ashley Poston book, her books always have some kind of like a time jump, time travel, time realism aspect. So it's giving me those vibes, which I really love. To give you a little gist, the book opens up and you get to meet Ricky, which when I first read the title, A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, I was like, okay, this is gonna be from the man's perspective because Ricky, but Ricky is actually the main female character in the book. She comes from a very, very wealthy Atlanta dynasty family. They own funeral homes and funeral parlors. The way she was describing her family aspect and the business, it kind of gave me like Chick-fil-A vibes. Like just very successful. All the siblings were gonna open up their own branches except for Ricky. Ricky is the black sheep of the family. She's 15 years younger than all her siblings. She was supposed to be a boy, which is why her name is Ricky, because her dad's name is Ricky. She's just always not fit in with her family. She's realized that working at her family business in the funeral home, her favorite part is the florals. So she goes and decides she's gonna open up her own floral shop. Now, before she does this, she meets this old, just like magical, I wanna squeeze her, perfect angel, and who has a brownstone in Harlem. And the lady's like, hey, the lower floor is vacant. If you wanna move to Harlem, you can have that apartment and like open your floral shop there. And so Ricky does. Ricky takes a huge jump, follow her dreams. She knows she's like different and she just wants to dive into it. So she moves to Harlem, she opens her up her own floral shop, and that's kind of like what we're seeing from Ricky. And then at the same time, we get to see the main male character. His name is Ezra. So it's going back and forth between their POVs. And Ezra's POV is from the 1920s. He had a really rough life. He lost his whole family to some really up things, and he ends up moving to live with his uncle in Harlem. He is a musician, he's very into jazz, but also finding his own, you know, his own lane. And so he goes to Harlem because the most beautiful things are happening in Harlem with music, with art, with culture. It's just amazing. It's definitely a really cool deep dive into Harlem's history. I'm learning a lot, which I love so much. I love jazz so much, I love music so much, and I feel like I'm learning so much when I get to see Ezra's POV in the 1920s. He's making a name for himself, he's become this famous musician, and we get to see him in the 1920s, but then we also get to see him in present day as a young man. So I think that's where like the time aspect is gonna come in. I don't know if he's like stuck I don't know exactly. He's in present day New York as well, younger. He's not like an old man or anything like that. So he's younger, but he also was young in the 1920s. So I'm gonna figure out what's going on there. I won't spoil it, but you kind of, you know, learn from the very beginning who he is. It's one of those books where you're learning stuff. There's romance, there's good relationships. You get to fall in love with both characters, but you're also like kind of trying to scheme how you do in a thriller book, trying to figure out what is going on. So that's been super fun as well. But yeah, those are the two main characters. They've met up in New York. They're kind of like having a little fling, but you know, and also Ezra is telling you that there's this big secret of why he can't be with her. And I think it has to do with the time aspect, but it's super good. I'm loving it so far. It is making my dreams of being a florist and like owning a flower shop. I'm getting a lot of that perspective and I love it so much. It's so much fun living out my childhood dreams through these books. And this one, being a florist and like being obsessed with florals. For now, let's read, maybe we'll color. We're just gonna be hanging out today and I'll give you updates as I read. The title of this chapter I'm about to start says, "You're the bee's knees breeze." And calling somebody the bee's knees is one of my favorite sayings ever. I literally have a bee on my knee for bee's knees, my tattoo. I don't know if you can see it, but I love bee's knees so much. But I've been reading a lot on my Kindle recently. I read the last book in this video on my Kindle. I read my book club book on my Kindle, and I'm reading this on my Kindle. And I have just been loving reading on my Kindle. If you're trying to save money or you just want to be a baddie and read faster or read more, I have been going through it. By the time this video is posted, I wouldn't have posted on YouTube for a month. I've been sick, I've been out of my routine. I have had my voice loss. It's honestly not even fully back yet, but I'm like, you know what? We gotta put this video out. Not everything in life is perfect and glittery and sparkly. And towards the end of this video, life just started to life, let's say. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you had fun reading with me. It was not for a week, it was not for 2 weeks, it was for a very long time. I feel like I am picking up the pieces and getting my life back together, getting back on track. So I promise I will be on YouTube more and posting more consistently. I love you and I miss you, and I hope you loved spending this time with me, reliving and just making my childhood dreams come true through books. See you soon.